Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Exoria. So, since last episode, I have begun working on our house. That's the main thing that I've been working on since last episode is our house. I did set up a little spruce farm here because we are using a bit of spruce with this build. So let's go ahead and I'll show you guys where the house is right now. It's actually pretty close to being done. The only thing I really have left to do really is shape up the roof. And I also have to add the little pathway like leading to it. A little bit of exterior cleanup, add some flowers and stuff like that. And then I have to add a floor. I haven't done the floor yet. Pretty much did the walls was like the main thing that I've been working on because it took a while. So anyways, right over here is our house. Dun-dun! And it's got plenty of room, I think, for our bed and, you know, maybe put our clipboards in here. And I feel like it's kind of spacious. It just needs a floor at the moment because it's just grass. And the pathway doesn't actually, like, connect over to it. So, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. Except that's not really our house. Just kidding. So it's actually nowhere near being done. It's a little bit bigger than that little 3x3, of course. So this is where I'm at right now. And like I said, it is kind of loosely, not so loosely, based off of a structure that I quite like from another game. And I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. If you guys have guesses, you're welcome to guess. But over here, this is the work thus far. It's actually shaping up nicely for what I'm going for. I'm actually pretty happy with it thus far. I mean, the interior is going to be a bit different than the one I'm basing it off of and stuff, but we've got a pathway here that kind of leads off. It doesn't lead to anything yet. And I'm working on spreading grass at the moment. It's taking a while. This grass doesn't spread super fast. And I'm just going to give you a quick tour of this because you're going to see this within the build video in the next few episodes, whenever that ends up being. But in here, we kind of have a chimney sitting right here. It hasn't been shaped up. I mean, right now it's just a 3x3, kind of like that little house over there, that little joke house. And we're going to have like a little fireplace over here and windows and all that fun stuff. And let me deal with this guy. And then this is going to come back through, and there's a little, what's going to be a door right here to go outside onto the porch area. And then there's going to be windows, you know, spaced out. I haven't exactly decided exactly where all there's going to be windows down here. But this comes back through, and of course we've got lots of room for rooms. Throughout here, there's probably going to be a door somewhere over here to lead out into this little porch area. Then if you go through here, it leads you like into the main room, and you can actually enter this main room from out here. There's going to be doors sitting right in there. To access this main room, and this is like the core of the building, and there's going to be another big fireplace sitting here, a big chimney coming up. And as you walk through, of course, there's big windows that are going to be sitting right there. There's going to be windows over on that side, and there's going to be an upstairs to this, so we're going to have kind of an open balcony that kind of overlooks down into this area. Long ways from being done. You just have to take my word for it at the moment. And then this leads off into more rooms on the left and right. There is a door right here, but this is actually going to lead on into like an exterior attached shed area. So it's not actually going to connect inside of the house. So this will be for like, you know, yard working stuff. Yard work tools and everything. And you can actually follow this around, and there's stairs right here that lead down, and you can walk around. Of course, there's still a lot of detail work. This is just here's where the structure is going to sit. It's a massive build, so it's going to take a while. This comes around, and this is actually going to wrap out over to here, and there's going to be a big back section right here, and we have to do a lot of landscaping on the front and the back. That'll all come later. That's all detail work. Right now I'm just trying to get the structure down. And then right here there's going to be stairs that come up and connect into this room. So we can kind of, you know, walk around. And then there's going to be like doors out here that connect into like a cellar type area underneath the house. So, and this building is going to take a massive amount of roof work. You know, I'm actually in between a cut at the moment. And, oh, that one just turned to see, that's what takes so long, is it has to turn into like where the grass is starting to grow, and then it actually fills out. So the grass actually spreads a bit slower in the Misty World. So, and this was originally like that all had to be turned into grass, and then all this out through here. And it's taken a while. I mean, it's been like, I don't know, like around 4 hours, 4.5 hours or something since I first laid all that down, so it's taken a while. Now, one thing that's kind of a bummer, and I know I mentioned this in the episode, rosin can't be used for all slime ball crafts. Sealed planks from embers is what I'm using right here for the floor. Which the floor, I think the building that I'm actually basing it off, the floor is a lot lighter of a color, but I like this really dark, planks for this. Almost like the Thaumcraft, you know, it's a lot like the great wood logs, or great wood planks is what it kind of reminds me of. And I quite like that wood type. But I think the building that I'm basing it off of actually has a lighter floor. But we're going to do rugs and stuff like that through here. So that'll all come later on the detail side of things. Also, this right here, this wall is not going to stay shakes. Just right now, it is shakes. So, just kind of a temporary thing. And then, I can't remember if I mentioned there's a door right here that leads out to this little balcony area. One of the worst things about this build is once we get to the roof, because there is so much roof work to do. Because I have so many overhangs to do, and this middle section is going to have a big slanted roof. I wish I could make it more slanted than I'm going to be able to, but it can't really be helped. Unless I did it all with chisels and bits, and then it kind of looks blocky. You know, I want it to look smooth, so I'm going to go with Architecture Craft roofing, but I'm not going to be able to make it as steep as I would like to. But it is what it is, I guess. But this is going to be a big, like, steep roof, and then it's going to kind of come out, and there's going to be, you know, these roofs all have to connect over to this roof and all look seamless. Then there's lots of overhangs and lots of, like, window arches, but with, like, the window kind of jutting out, and there's just a lot of roof work that has to be done. A lot of little exterior overhangs and connections, and it's going to be a lot of work. So I honestly think it's probably going to take a couple build videos to get this thing all done. Especially when it comes to like decorating the interior. That's going to take a while. That's going to be something. A lot of that I'm just going to do kind of passively in the background kind of a thing. But actually building the structure, I want to do that with you guys on the build video. So anyways, that is the work thus far. So it's a house. It's its primary purpose. It's just a house. It's going to be a very big house. It's going to be able to house a number of people, I imagine. So anyways, back over to here. I wanted to go ahead and start working on today's episode because I need lots of wood for this. You know, because I'm doing the wood shakes, I'm doing the wood blocks, I'm doing the sealed planks across the floor, and I just need a ton of wood. I want to continue on automating with forestry. You know, what we were working on last episode. We got the wheat farm set up. We don't actually have it plugged up into the system as of yet. And if you take a look over here, you can see the wheat is all fully grown, and if we pop down underneath this, you can see that this is all filled up with seeds and wheat and fertilizer. It filled up a long time ago, and it stopped running due to no inventory space. And I want to continue on with that because we're going to be automating other things with that, you know, the wood, and it's going to be a couple episodes of work for automating all of that because we're going to have a number of items and fluids and stuff that need to be automated, so it's very much a work in progress. I do want to get the wood automated. That way I'll have lots of planks coming in. Now, I'm actually on the fence right now about, do I want to automate spruce, or would I rather automate another type of wood like oak where I can get apples? And I'm actually leaning towards the apple side of things because, honestly, like, okay, crafting shakes, all I need is flint. And crafting, well, you don't even have to craft the wood. You know, that's the two spruce-related things that I'm using. So I don't really need those cut down into planks and all that. So I do think I'm going to go with like an oak. And that's so that we have apples coming in. Just because if we're going to be automating wood, we might as well get as many products as possible out of it, right? So I think the spruce, I'm still going to just manually chop that down, which is super easy with our wood cutting axe, our lumber axe. So it doesn't really necessitate, I don't think, making a farm for that. Because, that's so much spruce wood, it goes really far with the build. So, and I mean, it's not like the roof needs to be made out of spruce or anything like that. So, I think we'll be good on that. I just need planks. I need planks coming in, automatically being cut down, you know, and all of that fun stuff. So that's going to be that's what we're going to end up going with. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to start pulling items out. You can see I made a few things: controller slaves, ender chests, item ducts, retrievers, servos. Some of the basic stuff that we're going to need. And then I'm also going to need some kind of a dye color that I'll be able to use. Something that we're not already heavily using. So I think I'm going to go with like, go Go ahead and break these down light blue. Should be good. So we'll just go with a light blue for this. So what I'm going to do is, let's actually go ahead and set up the output first. Let's go ahead and dig down like right here for right now. And we'll kind of open this up. This is all just going to be underneath the floor kind of a thing. We're going to set up a controller slave just right down here, which of course connects, we've already covered controller slaves, they connect their outputs you know, up with the system, or the outputs, inputs, all of that stuff. They basically work as another drawer controller. So what I want to do is, we're going to have the first ender chest setting like right here, and this is going to be a light blue, white, white. And right here we're going to say L blue, white, white is wheat input. Alright, and I mean this is all pretty basic, pretty straightforward. We're gonna go ahead and put an item duct sitting right there that connects into the controller slave, and we're gonna add a servo right here, and we're going to say that you ignore redstone, and that's pretty much that. Okay, I'm gonna leave that open for right now, just because we'll be popping in and out of there a little bit. And then let's go ahead and grab our void upgrade, and we're gonna drop this into there, so we're gonna be able to void seeds. I'm not going to void the wheat, only the seeds. And then we'll just pop over, or actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put a servo right here. I actually wanted a retriever setting right there. Okay. And what a retriever does is it basically pulls from any connected chest, right? So anything that can go into the controller slave, it'll pull from those chests. And if there's no space in the drawers, so for example, if wheat fills up, it's going to stop pulling those items. You know, it's intelligent about it. Now, since seeds have a void upgrade, it's going to continue pulling seeds, because technically seeds can keep going in there. Because basically after this system gets backed up, I don't really need any more seeds. So it's okay to void those out. Now, I will say we're going to be crushing those down as well to make seed oil, but we'll cover that here in just a second. Okay, so then what we're going to do is right over here, we have a hatch. And we're going to take and plug up an ender chest line to that hatch. And this is going to be, once again, the light blue, white, white line. And we'll just take an item duct, stick it right there, and a servo setting right there to ignore redstone. And it should start pumping those items here in just a second. There we go, there goes wheat. It goes into there, and it should get pulled in by the retriever and pulled into the drawer network. So it's gonna, right now it's slowly emptying this out, but it's gonna be fast enough to keep up with this farm. You know, I don't need anything higher than just a basic servos for this stuff, because it's not like it's just melting your face, crazy resources coming in. I mean, it's more of like a steady resource gain. So if we take a look right here, we have 13 stacks and 16. We give it just a second. It actually might be pulling seeds right now. Let's take a look. 9 stacks and 42. 9 stacks, 43. It is pulling in some seeds. Okay, there we go. 13 stacks and 18. Basically what's happening is it's breaking down wheat and it's pulling those items in. So it is kind of, it's not pulling in 8 at a time right now, because it's pulling in whatever is available. But you can see the seeds are coming up through here. Then more seeds. And then more seeds, and so on. Okay, so that's working. It's emptying out that farm for us. And then the next thing that I want to do, now that we have that handled, I want to automate a couple of the things with this farm, and then we're going to move into our next farms, which will be, you know, the wood and stuff like that. And then once we get through all of this, then we're going to set up seed oil production, fruit juice production, things like that. But right now I just want to get the farms put in. Okay, so right now we have dirt that needs to come into here. Also seeds need to get put into here. So one thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to add an item duct over on this side, and we're going to just put it right here. Will be fine. And we're going to put a retriever setting right there, and actually we're going to adjust this a little bit. We're going to adjust this slightly. Let's actually pull off that item duct real quick for just a minute, and we're going to put down our ender chest setting right there instead. And we'll connect our item duct to there. And then right over here we've got item ducts. Let's go ahead and bring these down and around. Yeah, we'll actually run it like this. So we'll pull the items out, and they're going to come over to here, and then there's a retriever setting here. We're going to set this to ignore redstone. And inside of here, we're going to grab ourselves some seeds. And we're going to go ahead and put these in there and say whitelist seeds. And then we'll put a retriever right here as well. We'll do it all with retrievers, I think. And this one we're going to say ignore redstone. Okay, now I want to make something. Just really, really quick. Actually, two things. I want to make, there's item ducts, there's dense, and vacuum. And I want to make one of each of these. So we have, let's see, vacuum is, dense is lead, and then vacuum is silver nuggets. Okay, so I want to go make one of each of those. And basically what dense and vacuum do is they will do priority. So if something is dense, items move towards that slower. You know, basically it's lower priority, and if something has vacuum, they move towards it with a higher priority. So there's a vacuum item duct, and there is a dense item duct. And then what we're going to do is, let's just pop back over there, and we're going to set these in, because basically if seeds can go back into the farm, I want them to go back into the farm. If they can't go into the farm, then I want them to go into storage. Okay, so we're going to stick our vacuum item duct and our dense item duct down, and we're going to do the dense item duct setting right there, and let me actually pull that off. We're going to do the vacuum item duct setting right there, and then if we just put our item duct here, we can see that seeds will get pulled out, and there's space in here for seeds to go. So if we take a look, there goes some seeds. And the nice thing about using the retrievers, you'll notice it's pulling wheat and seeds. That's because seeds are getting pulled to this retriever, wheat's getting pulled to this retriever. So your retrievers, instead of only having one servo that's pulling out everything from the farm and then it getting sorted, instead it can pull 2 times as much. Because this one has the ability to send a request to this location. This one over here has the ability to send a request to this location. Okay, and you can see that the seeds have gone into here. Now whenever it produces more seeds, if the seeds can go over here, they're going to prioritize going over here. If they can't go over here, they're going to go down. And so that way we don't have to worry about seeds anymore. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to set up dirt and fertilizer. Both of those need to be sent over to this. So let's go ahead and grab a piece of dirt, piece of fertilizer, and we're going to add these to our whitelist for the retriever, so it knows that it can accept dirt and fertilizer. And this is going to be a lot of the similar type stuff whenever we get to the other farms as well. Basically just telling it that it can accept the soil type that it needs, the fertilizer, the seeds that it needs. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to set up a dirt line. And what we're going to do is, just like over here, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing except in reverse. We're going to put down an ender chest right here. And we're going to say this one is going to be white, light blue, white. And we're going to go ahead and make a clipboard here. And we'll go ahead and add that one in. And we're going to say this is the dirt line. Okay, so this is going to feed dirt to all of our farms that need just plain old dirt. And then what we'll do is we'll attach our item ducts right here. And just like items can pump into the controller, they can pump out of the controller as well. So let me go grab a piece of dirt, actually. And honestly, our bees should keep us stocked on all these. I'm going to have 62 stacks of dirt. And we should be still getting like a net positive on dirt because we just don't use that much of it in the farms. So we're going to have a retriever setting here. And this one is going to, we're going to say whitelist dirt and ignore redstone. Okay, so we should, here in just a second, we should see dirt getting pulled out and going into our ender chest. And it's basically just going to keep doing that until it fills up this ender chest. There we go. So that's filling up. And then we also need to set up another line here, and this one's going to handle fertilizer, but this one, let's see. We'll set this one up in a minute because we don't actually have the fertilizer auto-crafting set up. So we'll just pop over to here. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up an ender chest setting, say right there. And we're going to put we're going to make it white, light blue, white. There we go. And then if we give it just a second, there goes dirt. And oh, it's pulling into that, and that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to set that to a high signal. We'll fix that. What we need to do is we need to set this filter. So, let me pop over. Let me get a piece of wheat real quick. Because the only thing that needs to go into that is wheat and seeds. That needs to be it. Okay, so we're going to set this to whitelist, wheat, and seeds only. That's all that it can accept. And so then if we take a look over here, this is filled up on dirt. This has dirt, but it's not sending it over to there. And then we'll go ahead and set this back to ignore redstone. Okay. So that's all it can accept is wheat and seeds. It's not going to try to pull the dirt and then later on the fertilizer down over to there. It's only going to pull the dirt and the fertilizer into this. Okay, so now we need to set up the fertilizer. And to do that, we're going to have to do a little bit of automation, a little bit of auto crafting. And I actually think I'm going to build a small little structure. And we're going to put this out in our farm area. Like originally I was just thinking about putting it somewhere, but I think if we had like a little building, kind of based off of this style, sort of, you know, with the thatch roof and everything, I think it will be a little bit nicer, and that's where we'll put our crafters and our squeezers and things like that, which I want to double check. This squeezer, it requires a structure, right? No, it doesn't. Okay, does any of the forestry machines require a structure? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm still going to want to make planks and stuff like that, so I'm going to need to make it have an interior, but I don't think that we actually need... Yeah, see, none of the forestry machines require that. The thermal ones do, and I think it's just 100 interior size. Yeah. Okay, because we're going to use a sawmill within that little structure. So, give me just a second. Let me build out, or give me a second. Give me a little bit, and I'm going to build out a structure that'll house all of our forestry machines and our auto crafting for making fertilizer, and later on we're going to be making hummus and stuff like that. So I want to set up a little room for that. So I'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, I kind of have like the base of a structure. It doesn't have all the detail and stuff added to it. I will say that we're going to be automating thatch here soon. Like straw, so we can make thatch. Because having to manually craft that every time I want to make one of these buildings is what takes the longest, I'd say. But anyways, I have just a basic little structure here. You know, basically just the same design generally as the other structures over there, except this one has windows and you know, it's all closed in and everything, and our thermal block should be able to set inside of this, I should think. I'll have to see. I actually haven't tested it. I'll have to test it real quick, because like I said, I want to put sawmills in this a little bit later on, and yes, okay, we can put them down. Perfect. I wasn't sure about the thatch and the little slats. I wasn't for sure if those would block it out. I know the windows do, but I wasn't for sure about those. So I got to thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I need to test that. Okay, so anyways, we've kind of got like a little building over here that's going to serve as our kind of our forestry automation hub. Okay, it's not going to have like our forestry machines for manual crafting, but it's going to have things like squeezers and also sawmills and different things that we're going to be automating throughout our farms is the main purpose of this building. So, and we should have plenty of room there. Okay, so what I want to do next is we're going to have to do a little bit of automation here for fertilizer. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up a couple more ender chests, and I would love to use like RF tools or warping item ducts, or not item ducts, but item pipes, things like that. But I can't at the moment because either we just don't have the stuff set up for them, or in the case of some of the stuff, we don't actually have the recipes unlocked. And of course, I build my bases so big that it's hard to actually just run pipes, you know, from one end to the other, because it's just so much that would have to be chunk loaded. So ender chests it is. We're going to set up 2 additional ender chests, and we're going to set up item ducts connected to these, and then we're going to set up retrievers there and there. And then what we're going to do is, this is going to be for automating fertilizer. So we're going to grab ourselves a piece of sand, and I was looking through and I don't see a way to limit items without just like some big redstone control. I don't see any way to like limit item input. Like there's no like stack limit. within this pack, at least that I've noticed for early game. So we're just going to do 2 separate ender chests. And actually, let me pull these up for just a second. Let me dye these. So we're going to go, let's see, we've done white, blue, white, and blue, white, white. So we're going to go white, white, actually white, white, blue I want to keep for the fertilizer line. So we're going to have sand. It's going to be blue, blue, white, and then apatite's going to be white, blue, blue is what we're going to go with. So let's go ahead and add those in to our list here. I'm actually going to go ahead and add white, white, L blue, and that's going to be fertilizer. And then we'll go on to the next page, and then we'll do light blue, white is going to be sand, and then white, light blue is going to be apatite. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and connect this stuff up. So item ducts go down. Retriever goes down. This one's going to be whitelisted with sand. And we're going to go ahead and ignore redstone. So it should start pumping sand down. There it goes. And then this one here is going to be whitelisted for apatite. Ignore redstone. And that should start pulling the items in. There we go. Okay, so now that that's all filling up, what we're going to need to do next is make ourselves a crafter. And we're actually just going to go with, not the structured crafter, but the auto workbench. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up our fertilizer automation, just setting like right here, for example. And why did I get, this doesn't craft 3 at a time, does it? Okay, I must have had auto workbenches in my backpack. 2 of them, and did not realize it. Okay, well, whatever. And then we're going to take and we're going to set up, actually let's move this over to right, let's see, we're going to have an ender chest sitting right there. This one's going to be blue, blue, white. We're going to have another ender chest setting right there that's going to be white, white, blue. And you can see we've got sand, we have apatite. And then we're going to put down our auto workbench setting. Let's see, we're going to have item duct there and there. Auto workbench right there, and we're going to put a retriever setting right there. And we're going to say, well, let me actually set up the recipe first. So, 2 sand, 1 apatite. Apatite goes there, sand goes right there, and you can see it already balances it out and it locks our slots in. And then we'll go ahead and just say ignore redstone. And once again, this isn't going to send too many items. You know, it's basically going to send items, and then right now it's collecting sand. So it's going to take a second to fill this up, but once the buffers fill up, it's going to run a little bit better for us. So because right now it can only request from one place at a time, so right now it's just requesting sand, and then it'll start requesting apatite. And then what you can also make fertilizer with ash, so you can do this recipe, but I feel like the 2 sand and 1 apatite's kind of cheaper-ish. I don't know, I mean, we've got infinite ash, we've got infinite sand, it's about the same. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up another ender chest here. This is going to be our white, white, blue, or white, white, light blue. And then we'll just do an item duct sitting there, and then we'll do a servo connected into that, and ignore redstone. So that's going to collect the fertilizer from this auto workbench and pump it into our ender chest sitting right here. Okay? And that's really all there is to it. We just kind of have to wait for those buffers to fill up. Now I could manually place the items and it would speed it all up, but I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm not too worried about it. And then we're going to set up another ender chest. So many ender chests. We're going to set up another ender chest setting right here, and this one is going to be our white, white, light blue line that has the fertilizer, and then we'll just connect up the item duct right there, and if we give it just a second, there goes the fertilizer, and it's going to get pumped over into this. And go into there, 34. There we go. And that's fully automated now. And we should never run out of fertilizer, dirt, seeds, anything. You can see that this is actually filled up on seeds now. It's filled up on dirt now, and it's going to be filled up on fertilizer after that has just a little bit of time to run. Okay, so that is done. this is fully handled and everything is going where it needs to go. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to set up our next farm. Or do we want to go ahead and do seeds right now? That is the question. Actually, let's go ahead and do the next farm, because I do want to get wood automated this episode for sure. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to be doing a different farm system, because like right over there we use the big multi-block farm. And what we're going to be using instead, which you do have to automate one other resource. It's not really a big deal. But if you take a look at if you just look up farms, you can see forestry adds all of these farms here. So it adds arboretums, farms, mushroom farms, gourd farms, infernal farms, and ender farms. Oh, and peat bogs. It adds all of these. And we're going to be getting into peat bogs. We're also going to be getting into the arboretums right now. And we might do some farms. We'll see. Maybe mushroom farms. I don't know. We might end up using all of them. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. Also, this one does ender lilies in addition to chorus flowers. This pack does not have ender lilies, though. So just a heads up. But we're going to be making a managed tree farm with this block right here. So this requires 3 golden electron tubes, a flexible casing, which does require some emeralds, some bronze. These are slightly more expensive, I guess, on materials. In a lot of packs, of course, we have emeralds like crazy. You know, they're more expensive on rare materials, but not as expensive overall if you have like endless resources, basically. So what we're going to need to do, basic circuit board, this is 10 nuggets, so let's get some of those. And we'll go ahead and set this up, make our basic circuit board. There we go. And then the next thing that we're going to need is 4 pieces of glass. That's pretty straightforward. We're going to need 3 electron tubes, or golden electron tubes. So let's get that made. I need to just keep like glass or sand or something over here like on hand for use in the thermionic fabricator. Might be a good idea. Okay, and then the last thing that we're going to need for this is the flexible casing. So we're going to need just a couple slime balls. I don't think we can use... Now, see, a lot of things I've noticed you can't actually use rosin on, which is kind of a bummer, but 4 bronze, 2 emeralds, 2 slime balls. I've got plenty of slime balls, though. Okay, so we'll give it just a second, and there we go. There's our flexible casing. And I used one of those pieces of glass, so let me pop back over and let me get one more piece of glass. And then we'll be able to make our farm. So, managed, there we go. And there is our tree farm. And this is basically just a simpler, non-multi-block method for farming. And I feel like these are actually on the road to getting phased out. So I'm going to have the tree farm sitting right over here. It's a little bit closer to this little area, but that's fine. Let's see where our chunks are. Okay, so we're going to set this up. I can't remember the exact size. Let me double check the exact size on this. Okay, it's a 13 by 10 by 13, which should be good. So we're just going to put this down like right here. Okay, and then we're going to dig down underneath this real quick. And let me go get the stuff for our power generation, because this is going to have on-site power generation like our other stuff has had. So let me pop over. Let's see. Oh, actually, this Misty World sand falls, just not that other one. It's interesting. Let me pop over. Let me go grab our stuff that we made last episode, or we had for last episode. And I tell you what, originally I was thinking about doing cryo and pyro. Over here, I might, later on, I might upgrade it. But for right now, I'm just going to go with magma block and packed ice, because we have that stuff on hand. I remember it was brought up in the comments that snow is better, but I'm not too worried about it. We're just going to go with a thermal pile. I don't even know if I need 2 of these, or could I get away with 1 of them, maybe? I'm probably going to go ahead and do 2, and then I will probably end up upgrading it at some point just because we can. But let's go ahead and set this up. So thermal pile, and then we'll do our battery block, and then another thermal pile, and then we'll do our packed ice and our magma blocks. There we go. So we'll start generating some volts with this, and then we'll just pull the power out, and we want to send the power up to there and connect that up. There we go. So it's going to take a minute for this to actually build up the volts that we need to actually produce power. But that's fine. We got a little bit more prep that we need to do. Okay, now this is also going to require fertilizer and it's going to require humus as well as saplings. I don't know if we can actually use just standard dirt. I might try standard dirt. It used to be humus, but it shows dirt there. So it's possible that we may not even need to craft humus for this. And I've only got 10 oak saplings right now. So we're going to have to start with like a small amount. That's okay. Okay, it shows us being able to put dirt in there. So maybe. And then we'll just do like that. Right now we're not producing power just yet, but we will be here in just a minute. Let me pop over and let me get some fertilizer to kind of jumpstart this. Which it may actually be crafting up fertilizer, but yeah, we've got 64 in there now. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, so we are producing quite a bit of fertilizer. And we're starting to get RF as well. So if we drop fertilizer into there, it also says no water. That's fine. I need to make another ender tank real quick. Let me make a couple ender tanks and a couple ender chests. At this point, they're all really cheap. So I'll be back here in just a second. Okay, we should be all set. So we're going to set up our ender tank setting, you know, just right there. That's fine. And we're going to do white, blue, white. So it's water. And then we'll just tell this to auto output. And there we go. It's filling up with water, and you can actually hear it working. So right over here, it's tearing up the ground, and it's placing humus. So it can actually just use standard dirt. That's great. And you can see the outputs right here. So it's getting forest dirt, sand, sandy dirt, all of that stuff. Okay, now at first, it's going to be breaking these blocks, so I'm just going to manually empty it. I mean, I could set up an ender chest here, but that's fine. We're just going to do that. And I can actually help it by digging this stuff out to kind of help it speed it up a little bit. At least not be getting in all this like random soil types. And this will place its own water blocks if you're using like the farms. It will do that. So let's go ahead and pull this stuff out. And it has automatically placed down the saplings that we gave it. Now I only had 10 to start with, which isn't a whole lot. So I'm definitely going to have to get more, but that's okay. We'll get more. And you don't have to worry about this getting trampled, of course, like a tree farm. If you have a crop farm, you will have to worry about it getting trampled. But the tree farm will be fine. So let's go ahead. I'm going to clear up a lot of this grass that's kind of like randomly placed. You can see it changed over the humus, and it didn't break the grass above it. So there's like grass sitting there. It should still be able to place the saplings where the grass is at. And I know last episode I said that I was going to get a lot of that stuff, like the farms expanded and stuff like that. I didn't get that done, as you can probably tell by now. And that's simply due to I started working on that house, and I didn't stop working on that house. As far as my time on here went, like I was pretty much just working on that. So this is prairie and this is forest. It's not really going to matter though. Like once it gets hit with grass, it'll be the same. So okay, and then we're going to have to set up our ender chests. So this is going to need to stay stockpiled on dirt because it's going to make humus, but there's a chance that it becomes, I think it just becomes standard or just sand. Just like with the farms over there, it becomes sand. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a couple ender chests here. This one's going to be dirt. This one is going to be fertilizer. So white, light blue is our fertilizer line, and then we've got the dirt was white, light blue, white. So we'll do that. And then I'm gonna need another servo. There we go. It just grew a tree, and you can see it's breaking down that tree. And there we go. It's got cocoa beans. How did it get cocoa beans? Okay. I'm not going to question it. Cocoa beans, oak wood, and oak sapling. I know cocoa beans you can get from breaking the grass here, so maybe it got them. Actually, whenever I break grass, if I don't pick it up, certain things it will automatically collect on its own. So I imagine that's what happened. Okay, so let me go make another servo real quick. And these things really aren't expensive in the least. If I can find my items here. There we go. Or not servo, but retriever. Using a lot of retrievers. We are still going to use some servos. You know, we used one earlier, but I like the retrievers for like general purpose stuff like this, where you have like, you know, one block that's receiving items from multiple sources. So we're going to put down our retriever right there, and inside of this we're going to go ahead and set up a filter. And we're going to take, let's take a piece of this dirt, a piece of that fertilizer. And right here, we're going to say that whitelist, fertilizer, oak saplings, and dirt. Okay, that's all that you can accept. And then we're going to go ahead and say ignore redstone, and it's going to start requesting items from our ender chests. So if we give it just a second here, there we go. There goes some dirt. It's going to start going into there. Perfect. And then we're going to add a item duct setting right here that's connected into our arboretum. And let's actually put it on the other side here. And we're going to connect this up and over like so. And that's going to start, that's going to allow it to pull the oak saplings out of here and deposit them into this. And then I'm going to go get a dense, I'm going to get a few lead nuggets, and we're going to make a dense pipe. And that's so that saplings can go through that pipe whenever the farm doesn't need the saplings. And another thing I want to do is check over here, just to be on the safe side, apples. It's currently stack limit of 8. Let me upgrade that. So we'll have a stack limit of 208, and I'm going to throw a void upgrade on that. And then the saplings, they're currently a stack limit of 8. I'm going to throw a couple upgrades in there and a void upgrade. And then oak wood, we're not going to void that. Oak wood's going to be kind of like the cutoff. You know, keep farming until the wood's filled. Keep farming until the planks are filled. Okay? Because keep in mind, we're going to be running this through a sawmill as well. Okay, so back over here. Let's go ahead and... Did this pull the saplings? Yeah, you can see the saplings came back through and have been replanted. We have a few more saplings than what we started with. Like, there we go. It's probably going to prioritize north and then east, then south and west, I think. Well, no, that's east. So maybe it's prioritizing east first. But either way, it doesn't matter. Once the saplings back up, back up, back up, back up. Yeah, you can see a sapling just got pulled out, and it goes into... I think it's already been replanted. Yeah, just replanted it somewhere. And the cocoa beans, I don't know. I'm pretty sure those came from breaking grass, so I'm just going to dump those into there. And then we're going to do a dense item duct setting here. And we're going to put down our ender chest setting right there. And this is going to be on a new line. This is going to be the light blue, white, light blue line. Because we're not presently using that one. And that's going to be our tree farm. And then we're going to put a retriever onto this. And we're going to whitelist this for apples, oak wood, and we'll go ahead and say ignore redstone, and we'll dump those into there. And then we also need to, see, is this going to start pulling? There we go, there goes, well, there goes saplings. Oh wait, we need to set that to a whitelist. There we go. It was sending dirt over here. Okay, so there goes apples, and they're going to go into there, and then here comes some oak wood. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and I'm just going to dump this dirt back into the system. Okay, and then we also need to add saplings to this. Now, it's still going to prioritize... Whenever I break the saplings, they go into there. There we go. I got a sapling. It's going to pretty much just super vacuum in any saplings anywhere around it. That's one of the nice things about it, so... and we'll add saplings into that. Of course, that is a dense line, so it's only going to send saplings over here. That's the north side, even though that's the east direction. That's strange. It is going into this, but it's planting them over here. So, I don't know. Anyways, but it's only going to get saplings if this slot right here is filled. So all of these are backed up. Then it'll get saplings and send them over to this. And then we're just going to pop over here. We're going to set up another ender chest that's going to feed into our drawer network. And see, these, I don't want them feeding into our sorting system because if we have overflow or something like that, like, because I want it to stop after, you know, basically after wood gets filled up, right? So I want to have these as separate connections feeding directly into the drawer controller. Light blue, white, light blue, and then we're just going to add our item duct setting right there, and it'll start pulling these items. Now, I will probably upgrade this retriever at some point, because right now it's going to pull from one chest, and then it'll go back and pull from the other one, and so on. So once we have a bunch of farms plugged up to this, it may start having issues keeping up. that is a possibility. So that one will get upgraded, and some of these other ones may get upgraded as time goes on, but we'll see. So anyways, now wood is automated. Oak wood is coming in on its own. Apples are coming in on their own. Saplings will eventually be coming in on their own. Wheat and seeds are coming in on their own. So the next thing that we need to do, which we still have a couple other farms because we're going to do peat and then probably carrots and then probably later on some additional types of wood and stuff. But for right now, what we need to do is we need to set up our wood line. Yeah, see, that sand doesn't drop on its own. So we're going to make another extraction line, and this one's going to be pulling wood from the system. And we're going to do this one as light blue, light blue, light blue. And we're going to say that this is oak wood output. So light blue, light blue, light blue. And then we're going to do an item duct setting there. And a retriever. Let me get oak wood. Now eventually a lot of these ender chests are going to be gone once we actually start refined storage. But for right now they're a really good method for us to automate early game because they're so cheap in this pack. Normally ender chests are more like a late game thing. In this pack they're very early game, and they actually kind of fit our magical style. Because we're kind of going like really magic-y within the series. You know, with our builds and stuff like that, so they actually kind of work out. So oak wood, whitelist, and ignore redstone. And it is going to start here in just a second pumping out oak wood. There we go. And now we get to get ourselves a new machine with our machine frames. We need to make sawmill. And eventually we're going to have multiples of these running, making different types of planks probably, maybe, we'll see. But for right now I just want one because I want planks coming in for me to make sealed planks. Because I don't want to have to... I've still got some planks, but by the time I finish that floor I'm going to have ran out of planks. And I don't really want to have to cut down wood anymore, or even have to manually take it over to the workshop and put it in the sawmill that we've got. You know, that survivalist sawmill. So I just want to go ahead and make one of these. This is a whole lot easier to make this stuff than it used to be. And there is our sawmill. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's pop over to the bee temple, sounds good. And I'm actually going to need power for this. Which is fine, because I'm actually going to use a power system that we've used. If you watch SevTech as well, I do apologize, because we're going to be using one block. We're not going to be using it for power storage so much as transfer, but we're going to go with power cells. These right here, and I think the advanced power cells require the infused diamond, which we don't currently have, but we can craft. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to do that. But we're going to have to make a couple machine frames. We're going to need two of these. Basically, one is input, one is output. And then we'll probably expand on it as time goes on. But these are actually really cheap as well within this pack. And it does show it being gray-stained glass and gray-stained glass panes. And I'm assuming that that has to be put down like that. Okay, so let me get those things together. It's all pretty straightforward. What block was that, by the way? Oh, mana infused metal. Oh, but that's mithril. We've got mithril, so that's not a problem. Let me pop over to the workshop. And we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a bit of mithril from here. And let's pop back over to the storage center, and I'm just going to get it smelted real quick. So we'll dump it right into there, and it's going to start smelting. And then we're going to need gray stained glass panes, and item pipes. So I'm going to go ahead and get some lead going through the compactor to make plates. And then if we pop back over here, some of our mithril should be done, which I need to get that stuff slotted because I don't actually have it going anywhere in particular. Okay, so it makes mana infused ingots. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to put that right there with our nickel. It's actually crazy cheap to make machine frames in this pack. And then we need to make, what? Okay, the gray stained glass, gray dye. And I'm just going to make it with Britannia because we can. And then we'll go ahead and change out our glass, gray stained glass, and then we'll get a craft of gray stained glass panes. And then let's pop over to the turret workshop, and we're going to make ourselves 2 of the mana infused blocks, and then this should be done. Perfect timing. And we'll get our item pipes. There we go. A little bit more than what we need, but that's okay. And then we're ready to go set this up and make our first machine frames. And then after this, the power cells are cheap. They are super cheap. But it's honestly the cheapest method and easiest method for us for wireless power transfer. Of course, if your base isn't as big as like a country, you don't really have to worry about this stuff as much, but my base is just always span like forever. And I quite like it that way, personally. So, alright, so panes go around it like that. And then we need item pipes. And I think the item pipes just span every other slot, right? Yes. Okay, so item pipes around it like this. To there. And then right here as well. And then we'll go ahead and just do this top section here. And then bottom section. And right there. And I think that's all of it. And then all we have to do is just drop our malachite in there. And there we go. We'll start making our machine frame. Which I think there's a quest for this, right? Tech progression. Yeah, we need to make a machine frame there for making modular storage. I don't know how much we use modular storage within this. Modular storage is great and everything, but we could literally start refined storage pretty quick if we wanted to push into... you have to start environmental tech, but we could start environmental tech. So I don't know. We'll probably end up using modular storage a bit in a few places because it is quite useful. For certain things. So, but our drawer system is pretty, and our sorting system's pretty effective at the moment, but we will probably fit that in somewhere. So I need 2 of these machine blocks. I'm just going to dump the rest of this stuff into there, and I'll just go ahead and dump all of that. And this is just so I don't have to set up a power system on site every single time. I mean, we could use these for the farms as well, but I kind of like using our battery system. Plus, I already made the stuff for it, so might as well use it. Okay, so there's our 2 machine frames. And then we want to make the advanced power cell. We need to make the standard power cell first, which is just blocks of redstone, prismarine, diamond, and emerald. Okay, so there's 7. Actually, I'm gonna need 4 more whenever we make the next tier. I was crafting these like so much yesterday. So many of these yesterday on SevTech, so... Once again, I do apologize because we're kind of using the same block as we were yesterday, but for a little bit different of a purpose. We're not actually using this for energy storage so much as just wireless transfer. I like wireless transfer. I love wireless transfer. It's OP, yes, but I build my bases so big that it's kind of a must in a lot of cases. Okay, so infused diamonds to make the dimensional shards. Which we're going to have to make a few crafts of these. It's going to be diamond, emerald, gold, iron, redstone, glowstone, quartz, prismarine, and glass. And I'm going to need 8 crafts of this. Okay, so dimensional shards. There we go. There's a full stack of those. And then we're going to need to get ourselves 8 diamonds. And then upgrade these to infused diamonds. And there's our 2 advanced power cells. And each one of these can store 4 million RF. And transfer, I think it's like 20,000. If it's the same as SevTech, it's 20,000. And I almost forgot. I ran over there and I was like, oh wait. Oh, you actually need gold nuggets for this. You cannot use gold ore berries. Interesting. That's fine though. Because we have the factorizer. So we're going to go ahead and split this. There we go. There's our gold nuggets. And then we're going to get our power cell cards. 2 of those. And then we're going to set up our advanced power cell right there. And we're going to say that it's going to accept energy on all sides. And it's going to start pulling energy from our reinforced energy cell. And this thing stores 18 million RF. So it should be able to fill this up no problem. And then we're going to take our power cell card. And we're just going to put this right into there. Okay, there we go. Link ID 2. You have to set it on the left side. This is for linking them back up. Okay. I always forget that. So you put them right there, because I'm used to having link cards and then just having to relink them to the card that's there. So we're going to put 1 card right there, and that's going to say that this is a link ID of 2. And then, which I don't know why it's 2 instead of 1. Maybe because I placed them there and then I moved them back before they actually saved the link. I don't know. But then what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to our workshop building that needs the power. And I went ahead and grabbed some hardened flux ducts, the ones that I had on hand, because we are going to need these. Because we're eventually going to have quite a few machines in here that actually use power. So, but this advanced power cell, we're going to set this up just probably on the back wall here. I don't know if I want the power ran underneath the floor or above the floor. Tell you what, we'll have the power back here, the machines that use power. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run this like underneath the floor. Yeah, I'm going to have to go get some more hardened flux ducts. I think I have some more somewhere. Actually. Yeah, I only need like 2 more. Okay, yeah, I had some more in that chest. So I grabbed 2 more. That should be all that we need to actually plug up the sawmill and get that thing running. So what we're going to do is we are going to run the power cable up right here. And I'm going to have the advanced power cell setting right here so you can actually look and see it. Oh, I'm going to change those blocks down there as well. I'll change them in a second. I'm going to have to go make up some more mud bricks. But we're going to set this to out on all sides. And we're going to place our power cell card right there. And you can see now we have 8 million storage because we have 2 power cells connected to the system. And it's filling up on power. And then if we pull this up right here, run this cable up and plug up our sawmill setting right there, that's going to start building up on power. Okay, and so then what I want to do is I want to say that the, let's see, the left hand side is going to input items, and we're going to place down our ender chest setting right there, and it's going to be light blue, light blue, light blue, which connects us to the oak wood line. And we're going to say auto input, so it's going to automatically pull the oak wood from that and start creating oak wood planks and sawdust. Okay, and then all we have to do is make 1 more ender chest line, and we're going to have automatic planks. And I also need to grab some of the sawdust from here because I need to put sawdust in with a void upgrade. And we'll go ahead and get like 3 storage upgrades because sawdust will be useful for certain things. Of course, you can make paper, but also phyto grows, aqua chows, pulped bio blend, which we're going to be using that before too long, compressed sawdust, so on, florbs. And then you can compress it to compressed sawdust, which you can turn into charcoal and get a little bit of creosote with it, is the main thing. That's the main thing. So I don't know if I want to compress it and then store it. Probably not. I'll probably just store it as sawdust, honestly. But we could use it for our charcoal production. We have 104 stacks of coal, though. We're going to put the sawdust in over here with wood products, I guess. Yeah, we'll put it in here with wood products. This has 208 stacks already. But that's fine. We'll go ahead and put a void upgrade in there. And a couple more storage upgrades. So 520 stacks that can be stored in here. I've been getting a lot of sticks lately from deforesting the area where the house is. Okay, and then we're going to set up 1 additional ender chest line, and this is going to be our wood items. So right over here, I'm just going to dig this out. Ender chest, and we're going to say brown, white, white is going to be our wood input line. So brown, white, white. It's been a long time since I've done like a whole item transfer sorting system with just like ender chests for the most part, you know. It's actually kind of fun. And this is going to be planks. Yeah, just planks is what we're going to call it. And then we'll just connect up an item duct right there. And I'm going to go ahead and close this off because we won't be back down there this episode. And let's pop over just ender chests for days. That's what it is. Ender chest line for days. That's why we made the clipboard, so we could keep it all, so we can keep up with everything, you know. So we're going to put down ender chest right there, and we're going to say brown, white, white. How many planks? This doesn't have that many planks, or wood, but it's going to be building up. And then we're going to auto output both the sawdust and the wood into this. And then this is going to then get pulled out into our storage system. So we should always have planks and sawdust available. And then once the planks back up, you know, that chest is going to back up. The sawdust is going to get trashed, okay? Like after that fills up, it's just going to get trashed. But the planks aren't going to get voided. They're going to go into here until it hits that 208 stacks of planks. And then they're going to eventually back up that ender chest and then back up the sawmill, and then the wood here is going to start filling up. So oak wood will fill up. So we have like a decent while that's going to run, but eventually it's going to stop running, and that's another thing that won't be running and consuming power. The farms then will shut down once that backs up, and those won't be consuming power and fertilizer and everything. So honestly, the wheat will probably stop up 104 stacks. We're up to 18 already. So that might be stopped up by next episode. Maybe. 18 stacks, 104. We've gotten, I mean, this episode, the course of it, we've gotten like 5 stacks or something. So, and it's automatically running and it has fertilizer and everything's good and happy. So, but we'll see. I mean, right now we have quite a bit of fertilizer in there. But it's probably out of appetite at the moment. I need to add more appetite bees since we're going to be doing a lot of forestry stuff. Having more appetite bees might be a good thing because appetite actually generates decently slowly because you only get like 9 at a time. But then again, since we'll be moving into industrial apiaries before too long, now that we've covered power cells and stuff, we'll probably start moving into those decently quick, honestly. It may not be needed. So, and this can be closed off. This should be good on power just with those magma blocks and ice. And if that's the only thing I end up running over here, I think we'll be good on power. But yeah, you can see the oak has backed up. There's actually oak saplings that have planted themselves right here. Because I guess they're out of range of this for like picking it up. So the saplings like land and then they get planted. Which is no biggie really. I went ahead and spread out those saplings because it's starting to back up on saplings, you know, on the first slot, which is good. Once this all gets filled out, that's going to be a lot more wood coming in, like consistently. I mean, this is chunk loaded. It should be chunk loaded all the way to the edge. It is. Great. Yeah, saplings are dropping outside of this. It's not really a big issue. It just means we might have wood like all around. Like trees growing all around here. So I may end up doing like some kind of brick or concrete or something like that around it. We'll see. So this area back here is very much still in the works. So it's still very rough and everything. But we're starting to focus a lot more of our time over here instead of over here, you know. And I know it's about wrapping up point, so I think we're going to end it out there, but we did get quite a bit of like key stuff done, you know. Our farms are set up so that we can easily just plug up ender chests and they have fertilizer, they have water, they have soil, all that stuff. There is a little bit we'll have to craft for like the peat. One other little line that we'll have to set up, but for the most part, I mean, it's pretty streamlined for setting up additional forestry farms. And having planks, super nice. And then we also got our little room set up, and we'll keep adding stuff to this and expanding on it, but for right now, just having wood and sawdust, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to speed up that ender chest because not the ender chest, but the retriever. It's not going to keep up with this ender chest. So I will look at upgrading the speed of the retriever, but we can make like faster ones. The reinforced requires some electrum, an eye of ender. Then there's the signal. I'll probably go with like the reinforced. Honestly, that should be fine because that's going to be pulling out every second. It's going to pull out 32. But I'll probably speed that up between episodes and get that going. I'm also going to spruce up this building, maybe. I feel like the roof needs to come up a little bit more, maybe. I may make the roof come up a little bit more. That's not a problem. I will say that in the next couple episodes, we're going to be automating thatch or straw. Not necessarily crafting the thatch, because I may want the straw for other things, but we are going to automate that because I've pretty much ran out my stockpile from, you know, those little roots buildings on the Exoria planet, and I've been having, actually I ran it out a bit farther back. This one was mainly crafted with the Exoria base straw, and then this one and this one I've had to actually manually craft it, which isn't any fun. I think I had to manually craft a little bit for that one. I can't remember, but so I do want to automate that here soon. Next episode, though, we're going to continue on with our forestry stuff. We're going to get our other farms set up. I will say that probably the carrots, I'm probably just going to set them up off camera because the farm block is literally the exact same to set up as this one. But we're going to start getting into peat bog probably next episode, as well as fluids, because I want to get you know, honey, seed oil, fruit juice, peat, and some of those liquids liquids and solids automated, so that we can start continuing on with forestry and pushing into the better stuff. power generation, and all that fun stuff. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. Also, either next episode or maybe the episode after. It might be the episode after, because I'd like to continue on with the technical stuff within forestry that we've been doing, the automation and stuff. Finish that up next episode before we move over to the next project. But I do want to start tree farming within forestry. So we'll probably start that up episode after next, I imagine. So, and then we might, after that, we might take a little break from forestry and move over to some other stuff, so we're not just covering forestry for like a ton of episodes. But I will say that once we get the next episode stuff done, we'll be sitting in a good place within forestry. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.